All right, what's going on, y'all? Let's talk about it before I go to the library. All right. My two, uh, a little scraping off. I'm feeling a little scratchy. Anyway, off that. Let's talk about it before I go to the library. Um, my ex-wife Jenny Rose Panner in the Philippines. It's a story with that. So we're gonna connect the story to an ancient story of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Like I said, it's a timeout, and because of line crossing things, timeouts aren't moments where you're actually living life. You're basically replaying what happened because it shouldn't have happened. Which is why Zendaya is saying replay. He's gonna put this on replay. Meaning we have a hold on existence for a second to replay what happened here with America bombing the fuck out of everybody and shit. Starting with Hiroshima, as we all know. The atomic bomb that erased people and shit. No bones found or nothing, depending on how close you were. Uh, So you can't tell that Nihonjin people were actually brown. They made you think that we were Africans. But really, everybody starts at the mainland. Everybody starts at the mainland. Then you spread out. It just happened that mostly all the people in the world were brown. You know? How did people become pale face? Demonic and alien interaction. So you end up losing pigment, interacting with celestial beings or extraterrestrial hosts. You intermix with them metaphysically and things like that, or physically if they manifest, you intermix with them, and they get inside of your bloodstream, your DNA, and you lose the natural order of your DNA. It gets altered, so then you lose pigment. Um, so yeah, it's not just having sex; it's just mixing with them and stuff. And that was happening right after the flood. The Most High told Noach, or Menachem is his name actually, told Noach, I did not tell you not to mix with the extraterrestrial hosts. It's not for you to mix with them. They are not of your terrestrial body. And he was like, I did not do such. I told my children and my descendants not to do such, but they must have went and did it. So the children of Yafet, as you call Japheth, went in towards the European area, where it's cold at, and where they were sitting at, and they mixed with them all over again. Um, and that they lost pigment. It wasn't just because of the cold. Oh, it was cold. No, you lost pigment because you mixing your DNA up with alien DNA or extraterrestrial DNA that's not supposed to be on the ground of the physical world. They're supposed to be in the sky of the physical world or in a different area. Whatever the case, mixed breeding, yo. Anyway, off that. So pretty much everybody that spread out across the world originally were brown. Started the mainland. Okay, what happened with the Nihonjin people and stuff like that, and as you call the Shine people, the Chinese people, um, the curse of Lot happened with Lot and his two daughters, Moab and Ammon, and that's how that started. But then the spread out happened, and then they ended up having funny eyes due to the curse that came upon Lot, and because of what his daughters did by the incest or whatever. But it ended up turning into being a cultural thing where that's just how they look, and it became a norm for the Asian eyes to look like it does do or whatever. But as time passed, demons get inside of your situation. Now you start having pale face looking uh, Asians, and you have your original brown face looking Asians. So you have two different types. One's from hell, and one's from heaven, because they don't have they're not albinoid, they're not albino, so they are not from our DNA strand. They're from an extraterrestrial strand that intermixed with our people all over again. And now they just sit here in our face acting like they're not extraterrestrials, like sit here acting like they from here. They're not from this planet, literally. pale face people. You just sitting here looking like they belong. No, they're like if you ever seen Toe Jam and Earl, and when we played the game Toe Jam and Earl, that's what they're trying to tell you in the game Toe Jam and Earl, is that they don't belong here. These people popped up, and we look funny to them, completely different, and they look like aliens, like Caucasian people, and you hitting them with jaws, and you're trying to bottle them up in these jaws and send them back where they came from, which is not this whole planet altogether. They're not even from this planet. That's what Superman trying to tell you. I'm from Krypton and shit. I'm not from this planet. He's trying to tell you in his clever ways that pale-faced people that have no melanin and can't produce melanin are not from a melanated world. Uh, but people that are albinoid are from a melanated world because they are produced from albinoid people, but still have the features of our people, which is curly hair, this, that, and the third. Whatever the case, because of the mixed breeding, we just got used to it and just kind of like accepted and welcomed the extraterrestrial people that mixed bread with our people and ended up becoming pale-faced people because their DNA strand started conquering the brown strand, and they ended up coming out with straight hair and more pale-faced looking skin, which is why I'm brown and not dark brown. You know, you get mixed up. Um, but anyway, bringing it back to my ex-wife. Just had to tell you that small little detail. But bringing it back to my ex-wife in the Philippines, she's mixed with Japanese, Chinese, and Filipino. But she's a demon. All right. But I didn't know that at first. I didn't understand about demons and stuff yet. It wasn't my time to know yet or wake up yet. I still was living my human life, you know. So I'm there. She's a demon, but I'm here to talk about the dick side of things. Like, how did Japan turn out the way they did about bombing people and erasing people over some dick? My story with my ex-wife tells me that personally, how that happens. So you come out of nowhere, you mean well. I came to the Philippines because the rabbi that was in charge of the organization that I was a part of said that there's free schooling in the Philippines. You just have to pay for your living. Now, I can pay for one or the other. I can't pay $3,000, $4,000 for every 3 years. So 4,000 times three, you know. So I can't pay 12,000, you know, all to go to a yeshiva school or a Hebraic school to learn the way of the Most High. But my intent was always to learn the way of my natural culture. Being discontinued from it, I'm trying to re-find it or search out who I am and stuff like that. So I look for it, I find it. I got to go to the Philippines to do it for free, but as long as I can take care of myself. So I go by permission of the rabbi who claimed to be a Levite Cohen with no paperwork, but I'm believing him because times is crazy. So I go by permission of the Cohen, and also the rabbi in charge, Roberto Fortu, in the Philippines. I emailed him frequently to let him know updates on my flights and this and that. So I end up coming, and I let him know everything. He knew when I was coming, when I was there, what time I was there, what hotel I was at. He came to meet me at the hotel I was at in Pasig City, Philippines, and then we just went from there and came to Romblon. So it wasn't that I was just loose doing whatever I wanted to do. It was always everybody knew what I was doing, where I was going, and I was always informing people. So I'm not misplaced or in the wrong place at the wrong time type of thing. I'm in a place by permission, by people that have authority to allow me to be in their place, which is funny how I ended up becoming blacklisted also. So I goes, and now I'm here. Okay, not out of place, not here for wrong reasons. I'm legit. And when we go to Romblon, we every Shabbat would go to a place called Agputlos. And in this place called Agputlos, there was a Philippine family, and we would hold Shabbat. Now, this one Philippine family, they were brown Filipinos, but they were mixed with Japanese as well. And the father of the house was brown as me, but he had straight hair, So he was Japanese though. He looked more Japanese, but he was brown Japanese. So, and then Mama, who's the grandmother, she was brown too. So they were like, you know, the brown people of the situation, tall like me and things like that. Well, I mean, it's not gonna say tall, but my height and stuff. Um, Typical Filipinos are shorter, so that's why I'm saying that. So when I go, we will hold Shabbat, and then we would leave, and then come again the next Shabbat. So it was a frequent thing. Every Shabbat, we would go to this family's house, and then leave, and then we would hold our own Shabbat in Tabin Dagat, a place called Tabin Dagat in Ajugan, Rumblan. Okay, it's a city called Ajugan, as if I'm pronouncing it right. That's how it sounds like they're saying it, Ajugan, but that's how you pronounce it. Um, my accent is funny. So we go there. It's by the beach, and there's a little place we go in there. We hold Shabbat. Now he had like found out where I got my lessons from that I was picking up on Hebrew, and he wanted to like use that. So he started searching online. E-teacher Hebrew e-teacher had a Hebrew lessons. They send you a package that have a Hebrew booklet. You have headphones that you can plug in, and there's an app with it, and then you go into the app, and then there's a Zoom meeting type of thing, and you have a teacher, and then you have your headsets that they send you, and you have your booklet, and you have to follow along, do your homework and all that. And I pay $800 for that class, to take that Hebrew class, that Hebrew course online. But in the middle of it, we lost Wi-Fi, and I couldn't keep up with the classes, and whatever. So, but I still had my book, so we used it. But also there were lessons coming from the rabbi in charge, the Cohen. He would send like paperwork, or like kind of like worksheets and stuff like that. He would send like worksheets to him. He would print them out, and we would take them. But there was a moment where he was like, "You want to try to test out?" So I was like, "Yeah, I'll try to test out," because as they noticed I was well versed, I really don't need to start from scratch. So I tested out. I took the test out thing, and there was a lot of questions where you had to actually explain details and feelings and emotions and meanings behind different scriptures instead of just quoting scriptures. You gotta like dig into the mind of the creator, dig into the hearts of the people, what they could have been thinking, or why do you think this was that, or this was that. But it was things that had to be actually right. So it taught you how to think and reason around the scriptures, and how to have a good eye when it comes to looking at the scripture, so that you can see what you need to see, or see what the Most High is trying to tell you, instead of just trying to quote scriptures just to quote scriptures, and you full of feelings and emotions. Just like teaching you how to be in tune with the Most High and the thought process of the Most High and the culture that the Most High gave the Hebrews. That's what it was about. So I tested out, and I passed, and I became assistant rabbi, and he assigned me to a Pulos. Now, in the middle of all this, before I graduated, he said I had to be married, or else I can't be a rabbi, because all rabbim, when they graduate, they must have a wife and be married. That's part of the Hebrew rule. I'm like, right, because marriage is mandatory. So, all right. So I was like, dang. I didn't think to say I'll wait. I thought, like, dang, man. I was just in the moment, like, dang, I really wanted to graduate. So when he was like, yeah, you can marry this girl, and I didn't want to marry her, you know, they was asking me before my graduation, they was asking me to marry this girl, but that kind of egged me on to consider to say yes, as well as they kept asking me, and I was like, you know what, I'll just give her a fair chance. And so when I graduated, I married her. We said our marriage vows, and that was Jenny Rose Panner. All right. But the story is the Japanese story. That's all of the surface stuff, right? That's the little paint. That's the paint and the sugar that's covering up the true story, all right? Which is the Hiroshima and Nagasaki story, all right? So we got a little wool. It's a little wool that we got going on here. That's the wool that you're talking about. Now, to remove the wool, how did the Japanese people, or these people, end up agreeing with America to get us bombed? So my story was, you come in, a family wants you to marry their woman. She's brown like you, or whatever the case. And uh but my wife specifically was a demon. This is a replay, so she's trying to be sure. Da 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 da. So it's a replay, and she's a demon instead of being the original woman that I'm supposed to be with. So they off the story a little bit, because trying to bring me back to hell, like I deserve it. So that's what it is. So it's a little offset. The story's a little offset, but giving you the original understanding of what it's supposed to be. So I'm with my wife because they asked me to be with her, or whatever the case. and I marry her, and she's supposed to be a brown Filipina Japanese mixed woman or whatever. So I'm with her, and then the sisters that she have extremely getting jealous or whatever the case, because I'm okay with just being with her. I'm not trying to do too much. I'm in somebody else's land. I'm here for a different reason, but they gave me a wife, so I'm not trying to do too much. Like, yeah, I want to be with this girl and that girl, even though my culture says I can have more than one wife. I'm not trying to do too much. But it start turning into them looking at it like, well, since you can have more than one wife, why don't you just be with me too, type of thing. But everybody's trying to move in respect, but got secret feelings and emotions. All right, so I'm still with my wife, and I'm just like not holding back. I'm giving her the works and stuff like that, having sex with her, going all out. Everybody like want to be creeping up to our house, listening to us having sex, and they like, dang, it look like it sound like it feel good. He going crazy and stuff, or whatever the case. And finding out that I'm well endowed and stuff like that. So, and she's not wanting to talk about my sex adventures and all. Like, you two. It's like people start getting feeling some kind of way because they're expecting you to open up and start saying things and start, now give me the juice, but you're not giving them the juice, and they start realizing you actually love this guy. So you're not trying to, they start realizing it's a real marriage, and now wanting to get in between it now, because now it was like you can't control the situation like you expected you would, you know, now that you see his real love in it, even though this guy's not from here. All right, so what happened was it was the sex. You know, some of her cousins started being outside of our house, walking by our house and stuff like that, listening to us have sex and stuff like that. But you didn't know they was there until after we have sex. Then you can hear people walking away and shit like that. And the pale face people of her family were the jealous ones and shit. So you got, because she's mixed, so she got pale face Filipinas that are also mixed with Japanese, and then she got brown face Filipinas that's mixed with Japanese as well in her family. So the pale face ones live in a different. They live like down the street or whatever, and then others that are brown live up the street and shit. So they like separated, but then there's them in the middle and shit. So it started to be a silent fight and shit. But they were surprised that the brown Filipinas were surprised that it's a fight because they're married. Why are you feeling jealous and shit? So Lin Lin was the main one that was jealous. Lin Lin is bald. She's a bald head woman or whatever. She don't have hair. And, she was born like that, just not having hair. But I didn't feel like that was respectful for them to make jokes about her or whatever the case, but they was trying to tell me something. If she's a replay and shit. Oh, she's a replay. So she's looking at me in the replay, and like this is what happened to her, being jealous over some dick and shit, wanting to, agree with the agenda of exploding people and shit. Jenny is the demon mediator and shit. So it's like that. And then Finley also, she's a cat, but she's also mixed with the pale face. So she's battling the pale face Asians too. The Asian side, she's battling the blood or whatever. But she's still a cat within too. So, you know, we're family. Um, what ended up happening was they started trying to get like the male cousins that didn't know who I was. They tried to get them involved by lying to them about me. They start trying to rob me, steal shit from me, but still smile in my face. Smile in your face, but fuck you for real. Because you're not fucking me and shit. And I was exclusive only to my wife. I never touched anyone else. And that started triggering jealousy all over the city. Whereas though women were feeling some kind of way, like, you got this man that can take care of you. You look good now. You look beautiful now when you used to look like a piece of shit. And now you think you better than us. That energy where they feeling like you think you're better than us and shit. And then it got crazy. Um, They start threatening our lives and shit. It was crazy, yo. The men in the neighborhood would come at night and shit like that, yelling and arguing and fussing, threatening, like don't know what they saying, but they, threatening us and shit, or just yelling and shit. What they fussing about dark late at night by my house and shit. Like, fuck, I gotta do what y'all got going on. I'm married to her. Why y'all feeling some kind of way? So I'm like, y'all move up the street with that. But it was getting crazy because even the women started to fight each other. They was fussing with each other. Like, say that to my face and shit. Picking up swords and shit. Like, why y'all fussing and shit? What the fuck is going on? So it started becoming where somebody must have twisted the story and lied about something because they was jealous about something, and then everybody started believing the lie, and then from believing the lie, it ended up turning into a battle, and the battle and the beef started blowing up. So I'm believing that people like Lin, Finn, they were feeling some kind of way. Now I know for sure that Finn, when my ex-wife left me, Finn would come by my house all the time, trying to get me to come out of my house, to get me to come into the Dagat with her and spend time with her and shit. But she already got a husband and shit. But you trying to spend time with me. We in the water. I'm just chilling, like, all right, I'll come chill and, whatever. Just like come into the water, whatever. Just to get out the house for a second, but I'm not really feeling it. But everybody's there, so I'll come because everybody's there. So it's not just me and you and shit. So I go in there. I'm in the water. She like creep up on me in the water, she grabbed me by my boxes and shit. She literally tried to snatch my boxes off under the water, but she still had a straight face on. So her face is straight, like, but she get close to me and she's like ripping at my boxes like I'm gonna take these shits off. I'm like, damn, I looked at her like, the fuck? And she's just like looking at me like, yeah, I'm about to, and she's burning me up, doing that. And so I'm like, girl, so I get out the water. I like move her hand off and get out the water. I didn't feed into it because I still love my wife. She just left me and shit. But whatever the case. So I still love my wife though. So it was that energy, man. Lynn and Finn. So then Lynn started showing me what the energy was by Carmela and Lynn being in the water. They was on a log. They was on some two random logs floating in the water. And then Lynn and Carmela is talking to each other now. Lynn was never afraid to take her hat off in front of me. Even though she was bald, she wasn't afraid. She knew I liked her. She knew I loved her for her. I didn't care about the bald head. I liked her for her. So she wasn't afraid or insecure about taking her hat off in front of me. So they in the water and then they fussing and then Lynn start attacking Carmela and shit. And Carmela look at Lynn like, the fuck is you hitting me for and shit. Like, like she just looked at her like, the fuck you hit me for? Like, and so I'm like, what the fuck they fighting for? So like, I saw like something going on with Lynn. So it was that. I'm like, what the fuck? And it just was crazy. I wasn't feeding into the fire and shit. And it just showed that everybody wanted a piece of me. Also because the men that they were dealing with were like turning gay and shit like that, or they were gay. So it was making them mad. So it's a lot of reasons. There was a lot of reasons why they started gravitating towards me. I'm a straight man. I'm never going to be gay. Plus, I have a good character. I got a good character, and I'm a straight man. I'm not gay. But their men kept turning gay. They'd drink alcohol all day, or just get drunk all the time, eat fish, eat rice, and be just singing karaoke. And then next thing you know, before you know it, it looked like a male thing or whatever. But right after that, you like go away for like some seconds and then come back after they laughing and joking. Niggas is laying together and shit. They looking like they laying together like they in relationships and shit. They like just laying down together. So I'm like, what the fuck? How y'all niggas go from drinking, chopping it up on some straight shit to like laying together and shit? That shit was crazy. And their laying together was like they was hugging and shit. It was crazy. It was crazy, man. I'm like, the fuck going on? They be knocked out sleep from being drunk and shit. I'm like, damn. So it just was a lot of that was triggering that women. Also Jolena. Lynn and Jolena were Lynn and Jolena are replays. They're like my personal replays. But I'm a cat, so it's like a replay to know what was happening with the brown and the pale face. And because I'm in the brown face, I'm feeling it the way that they felt it before the blast happened. So now I can tell the story personal on a personal level. Jolena, even though Jolena was like 10 or 11 years old, I could walk by and then I could walk by and like just to walk by and shit, nobody there, but then Jolena's there. And I'm walking by, Jolena is like at the water, like I didn't know she was there, like whatever, she's just quiet, washing clothes, or she's with her sister Janice washing clothes or scaling fish or whatever they doing. And I might not see them because they there quiet or whatever. So I walk by to go to the well or something like that to get water, whatever. And I was like, oh shit, they scared me or startled me because I didn't know they was there. So I look at Jolena and Janice, they little girls, 11 and like 7, 6, something like that. And then Jolena instantly, as soon as I see her, she come from behind the twigs and shit, like opening her mouth like, let me suck your dick and shit. Now, at that time, scared the shit out of me, but that's a replay. You're married, but the women that are looking at their own men, they got small dicks, but I don't make that an issue, because he got a small dick, but you got a small vagina, it fits. So I'm not making that an issue. That's y'all issue. You making it that and shit. You just saw me and shit. Now you want this and shit. But you okay with what you have and shit. It fits you. And not too much, not too, not too less, not too much and shit. Be content. You know what I'm saying? Your appetite be so fucking huge and shit, you become a glutton and shit. So that's how it be. You become a glutton and you don't calm down. You snap. But it starts off quiet at first and respectful and shit. But then you snap and you don't turn back ever, my nigga. You turn into a demon, and your whole purpose in life is to just get this one man, or you gonna destroy him and shit. So your sister's with me. You overheard us having sex and shit. You this little girl, now you want some too. You know, Niggas start raping you at a young age and shit like that too, and that's disrespectful. I'm not about that and shit like that. So I'm against that. But you're not saying that all kind of shit happening to you already in your life, and so you feeling all kinds of emotions like, you know, I want my sister's husband and shit too. I'm already fucking. I'm already sucking. I'm 11. Da da da. So I'm gonna try to get some of him too, because you get possessive and shit. But also I got love in my heart, so you want some of that love too. And I'm so you thinking right, but at the same time it's like I'm being respectful to be like, nah, I'm married to your sister. Let's just keep it. And you started being cool with it. Now you're not cool with it no more. Now it's turning into, look, man, you already can have more than one wife. You won't give me some and shit, you know. And it be love at first. It really be genuine love at first. Then it turn into lust and shit, you know, because your men is no good, you know. They gay, drink all the time, don't want to do anything, and they got small dicks, so you just going crazy. And they raping you and shit. They be having sex with you and don't be paying you or giving you food and shit. Like they'll prostitute their women on debt, my nigga. They're like, I'll pay you tomorrow and shit, or I'll pay you next week. Just suck my dick now. So all that shit affects you, a nigga. So I'm not mad at them for all of that shit that's fucking them up like that. You know, it's just that there are proper channels you must go through, and you got to talk, and things should not be secret and private. If I'm gonna be with any of y'all, let's talk about this. Knowing that I have a Hebrew culture, I can have more than one wife. We can talk about this. We can do things properly instead of you jumping the gun. And that's how it happens. You jump the gun, or you do something line crossing, or you don't want to talk, wait, patience, all kind of stuff. My specific story was that, man, jealousy and shit. The sex was too good. Me and my wife, sex was, I guess, too good to them. Because I never held back and shit. Because it's my wife. I'm not gonna hold back on my wife. I'm gonna be all out and shit, aggressive and all that. But I'm not realizing the neighbors and shit, because it's really, we don't have neighbors and shit. Like, but I'm not realizing somebody could walk by at night and shit and just stand there and listen to you, and not thinking that they would do that, thinking that they would respect us. So it happens. Jealousy comes. Finn comes, start being that jealousy from Finn start to come. Then Lynn, and then it's like they just go from like, damn, that sex sounds so good, I want some and shit. You already don't have a moral mindset, so you just snap and shit. So yeah, yo. And with Carmella was the one I wanted to be with first, but she was trying to tell me the story too. Carmella's my sister. I know that for sure. Carmella, Saigon. With Carmella, I knew that she was connected to me 100% when I could stand next, I could sit down or whatever, and then Carmella could come through and just stand there or stand by, talk to somebody, and then look at my ass, and sperm come out my dick out of nowhere. Like, she don't even have to touch me. She just look at my ass, and I start busting a nut and shit. I'm like, how the fuck? I start pre-coming and shit just by her walking by and shit. Carmella and shit. I'm like, how the fuck you got power like that? It just, it's I guess a sign to let me know we belong to each other. You know, it just look funny and shit. So that's crazy. The Carmella, that's scary as shit. A woman can walk up to you, sit down next to you, and you bust a nut, and then she get up and walk away. She never touched you and shit. That's some scary ass shit. But at the same time, it's like, damn, I feel like we married and shit. But it's like let me know we should have been, instead of you and Jenny. You chose Jenny because my mother said no. She utterly said no, so I ended up with Jenny. Jenny Rose, the demon girl. That's the hell mediator and shit, trying to bring niggas back to hell, trying to prove that we don't deserve a second chance. So Carmella and I's the only people left on the land. Lynn would come through periodically on some demon shit, and I would never open up to her on a lust level, but it was getting to the point where she wanted me to, I guess, trigger to kind of like come after her. Kind of like how you see the Japanese women doing today. They have their men, right? But in order not to get in trouble with their men, they'll have you come after them. I was watching this one video, right? I be watching the Japanese porn videos to get the story, my nigga, because it's all about dick, my nigga. It's all about dick. So I be watching the Japanese, Asian, black porns and shit to see what the story is. It's just spicy too and shit. But I be trying to get the story. You got to go in there to get it. So I'll go in there watching this one porn where he's a black guy from America, and he's in this house. He's a homestay or something like that, or whatever the case. He's staying in somebody's house, and he got his own room. Now this girl would come through looking like a little girl, and she's just small and small as shit, look like a little girl, but she's grown. So she come knock on it. She don't even knock on the door. She gets out her bed, come to this guy's door after he get out the shower, opens the door, just stand in the doorway and shit. He got no clothes on. He covers himself up with the towel. Like, what the fuck? Like, just looking at her like, what the fuck? Yeah, but no and shit. Like, yeah, but the way you did that shit, no. But then he take the towel back off when she walks up because he covered himself with the towel. She walks up like, don't cover yourself up. But she's acting innocent the whole time, you know? And so what he's doing is walking up to her, making it look like he want her, but it's really her wanting him and shit. You can tell that shit. You know how Japanese women love crying and shit when they having sex, like they really in pain and shit, crying like that shit, irritating the shit. Why the fuck you crying and shit? Shut the fuck up. Like, why the fuck is you even? It makes you irritated. Why are you crying and you having sex and shit, and it's feeling good and shit? It's stupid to me. So she walked up to the guy, all this, all that. They having sex. She's crying and shit because he's sucking her pussy, but she crying and shit. Then he put his dick in her mouth and shit. They 69 and then shit. She's still crying with the dick in his mouth, but then really can't cry and shit. Like, she like crying halfway, like, damn, fuck that. I like this and shit. So it's like she fucked up about it. She's like, can't really cry like Japanese women normally do in their porn videos and shit. So it's looking stupid and sounding stupid. So it's looking phony now. So sure enough, he had sex with her or whatever, but he came into her room later. So he came into her room and then start touching on her. She's like, no, don't touch me and shit. And have sex with her. That's how it happened. So then later on, they're in the living room, and he walks up on her while she's in the living room doing something, and he pulls his dick out and start having sex with her. She's sucking in the shit. She's like, I don't want to suck it, but really, you know what I'm saying? He's making it look like he's forcing her. But the beginning of the whole porn video, she breaks the door in on him and shit, and he's standing there naked, and he covers himself up. Like, what the fuck? but the rest of the video is him forcing her and shit. So that's how you know that shit phony. And his dick is like, big, and and it's like she's losing her mind and shit. She completely lost her mind. She blanked out, lost her mind. Like this, like after that video, you knew that guy could not leave Japan. He could not leave Japan after that sex scene. That you can feel the energy and the intensity through the camera in that woman's eyes that he cannot leave. She's gonna kill his ass if he leave. Like he gotta stay there and keep having sex with her whenever she wanted. And it's crazy. I'm gonna put something together for y'all. It's gonna be real hot and explicit. It's gonna be straight porn, but it's a story in it. Gotta get through the fire and stuff like that. I'm not gonna put no lens on it. I'm gonna just put it up there so you can see, because you ain't gonna be able to tell how crazy they was to do Hiroshima and Nagasaki unless you feel that shit. So I'm gonna do it and put it up there later. But that's the story of that one video. But that was happening to me in the Philippines, But because I married my wife, they couldn't properly feel like that. It was just more like, dang, I can't be mad. I can't be like, I want some dick too. Even the gay guys was like, one guy was a lady boy, but he would always wear short skirts and shit like that. And you can see his you can see his rear end peeking out under the skirt, and you can see his dick peeking out from under the skirt, like he wore no panties or underwear and shit. He just wore a short skirt and shit walking around, but he looked like a straight man and shit, and long hair and shit. Shit was funny. It was crazy, man. And I'm looking at my now ex-wife Jenny talking to him over there at her father's house. He come to her father's house and they sit down talking and shit. And I'm thinking they just talking like, the home girl and the gay home, that shit. You know how girls be always with gay men, right? So I'm thinking that type of thing, like talking to him for and shit. Always girls talking to gay guys. So I just didn't think anything about it. I'm still playing basketball. So I'm still hooping and shit. And then I like look over. Like she playing with this nigga's dick with her toes and shit. That's like the nigga dick so small, she's twiggling it with her toes. And he's like looking at, and then I glanced over and saw that shit. I'm like, what the fuck is you doing? So I'm like, you know what? This shit about to be over. I just knew, I'm like, this shit about to be over. You doing crazy shit. Because in my mind, why is you even touching that nigga and shit? Like, why you touching? Why you touch? Like, you committed adultery already right there, just doing that shit. Trying to tell me some shit. But like I said, she was she's that hell mediator and shit. She's from hell, come back on the replay trying to make sure I don't escape her ass and shit. So she don't have no other purpose and shit. The actual woman I was supposed to be with is Carmela. May Sheen is grandma. So Carmela or Janice. Carmela and Janice. And grandma too, if you're just making it physical. But Carmela was the first person. Actually grandma, but grandma was too young and shit. She was 13 at the time on Earth. So May Sheen was 13, so I said, oh no, hell no, she's too fucking young. So I said no. And I chose Carmela. And I'm like, oh hell no, she too young too and shit. Like, in my mind, so I was like, I chose the Jenny. Like, cause I had to marry one of them to graduate and get my certificate or whatever. Anyway, be a rabbi, gotta be married and shit. So I was trying to choose out of them which one would be the better one. Blah blah blah, man. So anyway, it just got crazy, yo. Finn is my problem, yo. Soon as I got this food stamp phone, and I put my email in. I got a lot of contacts on my other phone, right? But when I put my Google email in for this one, all of my Comcast contacts come up on here, and then only one girl, Finn. Like, why is Finn in my phone and shit? She's the only person in my phone that got nothing to do with the other contacts. All the other contacts is just cable, Comcast cable, or my employer, my ex-employer and shit. Then it's Finn and shit. Trying to tell me who my problem is and shit. So Finn is my problem. Like, she's half cat, half the replay and shit. We're the replay, but she's half cat, half that aggression and shit. Like I seen another Japanese woman, she's half cat, half aggression. So her left eye's crossed, but her left eye's crossed, but her right eye's straight. So it's showing me how deep shit got. It got so deep to where these women was having sex with the men so hard that they weren't controlling their lust to the point where they literally lost their mind. You can have sex with a woman to the point, if your dick big enough, you can have sex with a woman to the point where she not only shaking and shivering, but her eyes cross and shit. And she literally can't think and shit. She go into like a climax state, lose her mind. I seen like women can pass out and shit. While you having sex with them, they can climax so hard that they pass out and shit. Start throwing up and shit like that. It can get that deep where the energy is connected to the sex and shit. Sometimes it could be a fight, so the women be looking like they be handling shit because it be a fight and shit. Other times when you really open to it, it's a different story when you really open to it and you really give into the burn of that shit. These women, their eyes cross, my nigga, and they go crazy. Then the demon come right out of their ass and they can't turn back. That's why they say black. They look regular, but they straight a demon aggressive. They don't have like a regulator in their heart anymore, in their soul anymore, to stop them from being aggressive like that. They lost their regulator. So losing your regulator, you can't control your urge of lust, and especially if somebody tell you no, you can't control that either. So imagine now in Japan, in America, they can't control it now. So them looking at me, the only thing in their way is slavery. That's what they be trying to tell me. The one Japanese girl named Sippy, she was like, "I'm that bitch. I'm your bitch," and shit. She was trying to tell me, "I'm that bitch." That's or whatever the case. She got glasses and shit. She Japanese, and she just like, because she be slurring and stuff. She have a slur, which means she's eye crossed. So she's slurring and shit. Talking about, "I'm that bitch. I'm the bitch." You're not thinking. She can't think straight. She can't talk straight. She lost her mind. Too much sex. Lose your mind and shit. You become like retarded and shit. And or too many climaxes back to back to back, not giving a fuck, just this all you want and shit. It's just the climax, all your life is. And the Japanese porn, the hentai, be trying to tell you too, is that fucking crazy to where what they trying to tell you is that what was happening was you're having sex with a woman, then you go into her cervix and shit. The dicks be so big that you break into her cervix and you bust a nut inside of her cervix, and then she lose her mind and shit, eyes crossed, and then she can't stop. But it's reversed. What they're saying is the men is doing that to them, but really it's the women that's doing that to the men. They're so aggressive riding the dicks of these brown men that's big that they break inside of their own cervix because they trying to prove a point. They lose their mind in the sex and shit. Lose their mind in the sex. They try to prove a point that they can take the whole dick and shit like that. And they just shove that shit so deep and it go into their cervix and their stomachs and they don't stop. And then they start growling. They be aggressive, growling and shit, roaring and growling. They start turning into monsters and shit. And they lose their mind having sex to where they don't realize that they don't realize that you're a person they having sex with. They just realize it's feeling so fucking good they can't stop, and they holding on to you and shit, not letting go. It's like they putting you in a headlock. They become like men that's aggressive, trying to hold you down and shit while they riding your dick, and your shit is in their cervix and shit like that, because they small women and shit like that, and they not stopping, and you busting a nut and they still not stopping and shit, and it's crazy. Sucking your dick till you gotta piss and shit. It's that crazy. Like, it's that crazy, yo. These women they lose their mind and they do that shit. And they don't think anymore. They're not thinking about your feelings, your emotions. They don't not thinking that you tired, your dick tired. They just lose their mind, yo. And you wouldn't think that can be possible, but you can see that can be possible by looking at porn and shit. How it be with just regular white women that be black. All that be black shit, blacked. And that's how you know how Hiroshima happened. The women lose their mind, that their minds pop and their eyes cross and shit. Their eyes cross. They be crossed and shit. And then that comes from over climaxing, till you can't think and shit. And then you gotta let her sit there and shake and shiver and shit. If like once she starts shaking and shivering to the point where she can't move and shit, then you can stop. That's how bad it got. Like, you only can stop till she's shaking and shivering and can't tell you to stop or tell you to like come back and shit. So then you run and shit. But while she's shaking and shivering. But by the time she, get up or whatever and can get her bearings back, her eyes cross and shit. She half retarded and shit. But she's still looking for your ass. It's crazy. She can't stop. That's crazy, yo. Like, what happened to you? How your eyes get like that? And then imagine how the men are feeling. Because their women are out of control. The men became out of control. And so the level of ecstasy that they was forcing us to have with them matched the level of intensity of the bomb that they did and shit. You know, it's more like not having a moral compass, some kind of moral code to balance your people out. You just be like, fuck it, do whatever, and you be like, yeah, hardcore demon shit, and then that demon shit start hurting you. It start, coming back to you, hurting you. Like right around me now is Japanese woman right around me now, like one across the street walking a dog and shit, but looking in the car and shit at me and shit. Way down the street looking at me and shit, but she walking her dog, but she not walking her dog. It's more like her eyes crossed. The replay people is right here in front of my face and shit. The replay people, they see brown skin and be like, oh, fuck that. I need that back. I need that again and shit. It's crazy, yo. That's what I feel walking around them, you know. But I can't run. This is what I'm supposed to do. Figure out what the fuck going on with them and shit. So I'm in a brown body to feel that shit. I need to feel what the fuck was the reason. Like, how did you feel? I need to feel what you was feeling to know how I needed to what's like the fuck. So it's that serious. So I'm feeling it, yo. It is that. It's merciless. It's merciless. It's non-controlling. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's like white people. Like Caucasian women is the brown men. That's all that porn, black porn shit. That's what it is. All right. So, but it's like if you're their servants and you belong to them, and she's in charge of some shit, she'll tell you to come in and give her some sex, and you will. And it gets to the point where your dick be so good that you want to stop and shit, and she don't want to let you stop, so she get her men. They want to kill your ass anyway because your dick too big. And then some of them be gay and shit, so you don't want to be gay, and your dick too big, and you keep giving her pleasure, so they want to fuck you up anyway. So what happens is, because you want to stop, they taking advantage of that and shit, her aggression, and rip your dick off, skin your dick, cut it off and shit, and eat that shit. As you see Chinese people eating dicks and shit, it's that replay aggression, my nigga. They so aggressive, they'll chop your dick off and eat that shit in front of your wife, so she can't, like, what the fuck? So she can't have sex with you ever again. That's what it is. So that's what happened with me in the Philippines. They blacklisted me and shit, so I can't get back to my wife because, like, we don't want you having sex with your wife again and shit because I want it. Jolena, Finn, Lynn, it's crazy. And they don't give a fuck that it's your wife. It's just that they want to feel that. They want to feel what your dick is like too and shit. Because they got fucked up lives, fucked up husbands, gay husbands type shit that they dealing with too, or else they would be content. Like, well, my husband dick might be not all that, but he got a nice job and he got money and shit, right? You wouldn't be bothering me and shit. But because your husband is gay and shit, even though he got a nice job, y'all got children and shit, you don't like the fact that he gay and shit or whatever the case, and it's fucking you up, so now you coming over to me and shit. I'm a better man type thing. And that's all it really be. Jealousy, envy about you having a better character than them, and you not bothering them or nothing. They love your character. But your women do too and shit. And then when the women get crazy, the men get crazy. Like Potiphar's wife, yo. Potiphar, he couldn't trust his wife, but he loved his wife, and she kept coming after Yusuf, as you call Joseph. He kept turning her down, and she tried to rape his ass one day. But instead of it being Joseph, it's like you got these brown men in Japan, they just give in and shit. And when you give in, you can't turn back and shit. These women, they'll destroy you and shit, destroy your women and shit. They'll kill your wife and shit just so you can't have sex with your wife no more. That's what happened to me. The Philippines blacklisted me so I can't get back to my wife because they want some dick too. Like, fuck that. You're not putting your dick back in that bitch. This is how it be, yo. That's what it be, yo. And if you can still figure out a way to get back to her, that aggression, it goes times 10 or times 3. It times itself. And so they get extremely aggressive because a woman can't do nothing to a man. You some small, feeble girl, what you gonna do to me and shit? But be mad and shit and yell and fuss and rah, rah, rah. And I'm just gonna laugh at you and walk away and shit like that. So then you gonna do whatever the fuck you can and shit. Said some shit. You start making up extreme lies and you did anything and said anything and got my, I won't leave my wife, so we gotta both blow up and shit. If I can't have it, you can't have it. I'm going to erase your ass. She can't even have your bones and shit. It was disrespectful, yo. That's how you start feeling. So it still lives in them. They don't. It's not stopped. It still lives in them. Pale face people, yo. From the Caucasians to the Japanese, why they agreed with each other? Because the same issue that the American people got. Big black dicks and shit. Your women want to have sex with the black dick man, and your dick ain't, And the same thing with Jap. So they agreed with each other. The technology was Japanese. The chemical and the chemistry, it was all Quincy shit. Smart, nerdy guys that's from Japan. It was their technology and their information, their whatever, but the manpower was America. So you use the manpower of America, the black people being the manpower, slaves, building your shit. They don't know what the fuck they building. They just putting some shit together like these niggas crazy. And then you built the bomb to blow your own people up, but you ain't know that and shit. You was just the manpower, the free labor. Japan couldn't do it because they couldn't slave the brown people and shit. We were good fighters. They couldn't slave. They didn't have slaves like that to be using them to have manpower to be building shit like that. America did, so they worked together. Manpower versus the information. Manpower and information together. That's how you know when the first, what's the name? The Quincy that's with Ichigo. Like he's continually trying to figure out how to like enhance his bow and shit. So that's all he kept doing. The whole first series of Bleach, he's trying to figure out how to enhance his bow and his Quincy powers and make it, stronger and da 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 da. Just trying to make the blast bigger and bigger and bigger and shit. So you just still working with the elements and shit and stuff like that, as they call it, alchemists and shit. All that shit was about that alchemy and this that. You working with shit that can erase you, my nigga. And you did some shit, concocted some shit that started erasing you, and all kind of shit. And you were so on it that actually it worked and shit. Invented some shit that can erase some shit on a small level, and like times that shit up to where you can blow up a whole fucking city. But that shit was way bigger because America don't really fuck with y'all like that either. Because you would blow your own people up. So they like, I can't really trust them like that. So they gonna try to get a lot of y'all, blow that whole shit up and you and shit. So then it started becoming like, you went too far and shit. Like, hey man, look, this is what you wanted. That's what you asked for. That's what you got and shit. Now they over here still with these niggas tied together. It's crazy, yo. So just had to tell that little story that I do personally know. But like I said, because I'm a cat, I belong to Japan. So I'm not in charge of no shit. Yeah, I got many bloods in me, but as far as my physical body is given to the cat side of me, not even the native side of me. Even though my native side is in me, or whatever the case, it's the cat side because the situation that happened with Hiroshima is a greater situation. It's a bigger problem than all of the other problems because you erase people's bodies and shit. Like it looked like nobody even existed that was in Japan that was brown. With the natives, you can tell that they were traces of them here because we're still here and shit. So you weigh it out and shit. So you go with the heavier weight, and that's Japan and Hiroshima. So I got the body and shit, but the Most High Father is using the body, but I got the body, the physical side of things. So I got the brown hat on, letting you know I'm in the body and shit. Silver means I'm in my cat self, and black means don't call me and shit. I'm dead. Don't call me. Don't talk to me. Cat is out. I'm gone and shit. I'm in a house and shit. Don't talk to me. I'm off duty. That's what the hats mean. It's, you know. But also I'm supposed to wear a hat because I'm a rabbi to cover my head, to symbolize that the Most High is my covering. But the colors mean just that. I'm in my body. I'm in my bag. Black, I'm not in my bag. I'm out. Silver, I'm in my cat self. You know. Yeah, but all of my cat family are the only ones I'm allowed to be intimate with because we burn. Our bodies burn. But I found the holy so they don't burn hellfire and we don't erase. It's just pure holy fire. So our bones can come back together. It can grow and shit. And the fire is pure fire. Like bleach and shit. It's pure fire. So we don't gotta worry about erasing. It's just that we still burn. Because we're borrowing time and shit. So we still burn. We're not supposed to be here. So if I did have sex with any of the replay women that had to do with the black lust and shit, the dick worship shit for real, it would burn that soul and shit. So you can have sex with me because in physically you a Caucasian looking, pale face looking Japanese person, but behind the scenes in the meta world, who you actually are is a big back black demon and shit off of Hellbound and shit, running through the city trying to kill niggas and shit. You know, 3 deep and shit. That's what y'all is, big black back people. But you a woman, a beautiful ass Japanese woman for real and shit, and physically. So if I had sex with you, it would burn your ass, your black big black back ass. It would burn you, erase you. So you could do it if you want to, and get it. You can get erased. You know, you want to know what that feel like. You know, but I'm only to be intimate with my cat people as the women, you know, and marry them. But because we can be polygynous, I can have more than one wife, so it don't matter. So they can burn for me like you burn for me. But I only can really be with them and not you. But if you're gonna force me and shit, you know, I do have to comply because I'm a cat. I gotta comply. That's why I'm in a brown body like a slave. I gotta comply because I'm a cat. I'm not above you. So it's just that something is in your way. You know, I don't have my own money. I can't make money. I'm a slave in America. They making sure they do everything in their power to make sure I don't make money, make sure I don't get a job, because the only thing in the way is the money. You could easily come over here and give me some fucking money so I can go to Japan, but you would never do that. It's a spell. It's a spell on your mind to make you look at me and not want to do that. You know, so you're being regulated by heaven, not knowing you're being regulated because your feelings and emotions are being checked. So you won't feel to pay a lot of money to bring me to Japan to be having sex with your women and shit. You know, having you cut your heart off and shit. Like, I ain't feeling that. Like, right. Make sure you don't feel it. Unplugged you and shit. But you still want me to come there. You want me to make the money to do it. So it's like, you know, funny. But if I did come back there, I would only try to get to Anna Yamagishi, you know, or KT, you know, or Jasmine. She's from Baltimore. She's over there. She's married. She's doing replay work too. So yeah, my own people I would try to go to and stuff like that. I wouldn't try to, or you know, the cats and brown people. I would try to go to my own people. I wouldn't go to the replay people that had to do with the bomb. Even if you were a pale faced Japanese person, you still a cat. I would go to you because you're a cat and shit. It's not about the skin. It's about who you are behind the skin. Even in China, you know, they got a lot of us there too. You know, servants. We be servants and shit like that, just working and being servants. Because we cats, we not never gonna be above you. You always gonna be above us. So whatever. Um, we don't have an issue with that. It's just like we have an issue with why the fuck you got a problem with us and shit. All I said was meow, and I left it at that. I didn't scratch you. I didn't attack you. I didn't hiss at you or nothing. I didn't nothing. My nigga just like okay, walk away and shit. You ain't feel nothing. I ain't feel nothing. And you just mad at this nigga so bad that you blew up everybody, even me. Like I don't got feelings. It's like talking to a 3-year-old, but that's you would never think that you think to talk to a 3-year-old. What the fuck? A conversation with a 3-year-old gonna really be like for real, my nigga? Fuck out of here. This little boy, a little 3-year-old, he gotta learn a lot about life. So that's how you would think about a 3-year-old. The same way you would think about a cat, even more. Like, the fuck, I'm going to have a shut the fuck up talking to a cat. Shut up. So you don't think about the feelings and emotions we have, like crushing bugs or killing bugs and shit like that. So you don't think about their feelings. Instead of get it out of here, or carefully remove it, contain it and remove it, you think to crush it and destroy it and shit. That's how it be, but it's not how it's supposed to be. Anyway, I'm sweating like I'm on. Hot as shit. Sorry, I'm sweating and shit. Um, Let me finish this up. So, yeah, I know personally how it is. Like I said, I'm looking at them all day. They frowning at me, but it's more sex frown. Like, get your ass back to Japan so I can suck that dick and shit. You can be a boyfriend for hire and shit, or you can just be you can be a gigolo, or you can just have sex. Okay, fine. I'm not married. I'll do that and shit. But I'm not just gonna go over there and do that. I want to be married. But if you're gonna tell me I gotta do that, I'm not just gonna do that and shit. You gotta do it. You gotta do it for me and shit. Like how you do a woman. You call her, pay her money, fly her out and shit. I'm gonna do it just like that. Like, nah, fuck that. I ain't putting no money, no effort towards nothing, my nigga. You gotta do it. You want the dick that bad, you pay for it and shit. You the rich one and shit. You rich, you do it. I'm a slave. I'm a cat slave on earth in a human body. You do it. I ain't got shit. So that's pretty much the card I play. And every time I play that card, the traditional roles of a man kick in that body. Well, a man is the way of a man is supposed to be like right. So now I blocked you and shit, because the traditional role of a man is to provide for the woman. So I took advantage of that to block you and shit. Spells, my nigga, spells. I'm doing magic all day on y'all emotions and shit, and you don't even know. I'm doing magic on your emotions. Make myself a little bit chubby, but not too chubby, to where it blocks you to the point where you want my dick, but you don't want me. So it balance out and shit. You burning, but you're not gonna be burning enough to actually come talk to me, because it's not worth it, because I got a chubby stomach. But I got a nice sized dick that you want and shit, because you're a small woman. You 4'11", 4'10", or some shit like that. And you a pale faced Japanese woman. Burning and shit. Because you saw that shit on some secret shit. You know? So it's like, yeah, I got you. And then again, like, you want me to come to Japan? Yeah, da 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 da. Like, yeah, but you gotta pay for it. You halfway thinking about yeah, halfway thinking about no, but then you like, well, the traditional role of a man is like right, so I blocked you again and shit. So I'll be blocking y'all, yo. And then I tell you I'm a cat and shit. Cats are never in charge of y'all. In all kind of ways, I tell you I don't have power. In all kinds of ways, I block y'all, yo, and it work every time. And even though I tell you what I'm doing to you, you still can't undo the spell and shit. You still can't undo the spell. You still gonna walk around. What you gonna do is convince yourself that I'm only saying that. I'm only saying that to make you try to like, yeah, oh, he's only saying that to get under my skin, right? And I did get under your skin, right? So what did you do? Convince yourself still, even though I told you and you know by me telling you, still convince yourself not to do it and shit. So I put the spell even stronger on you because I told you what I'm doing to you. So now you definitely not gonna do it, right? See? It's how it work, my nigga. Your feelings and emotions, my nigga. So you like, why you keep saying it? Because I'm saying it in private, you're gonna think about that shit. Like, he's only saying that because right. So now I blocked you more. So you're definitely not gonna bring me to Japan because I talked about it. So, and you're not gonna walk up to me because I'm a brown man. So you intimidated. So you're not gonna walk up to me and be like, I want to have sex with you and shit. You're just gonna stand there and try to get me to come after you because you want me to come to hell. So it's always gonna be the spell of you waiting for me to react to you, because if you the one that react, then I'm still in the right. I can't come to hell. If trying to say if I come to you, then I gotta go to hell because now I'm messing with you and you married. Y'all be married over here, but you want me to react. You want me to say fuck that shit and give in. So it's all played out funny ways, my nigga, and it be spells because your emotions being involved. So I became a magician or some shit. And yeah, yo. What y'all be forgetting on earth is that everybody is fragile the same. Everybody's mind is strong and feeble the same. It's not that your mind is greater than mine or your brain can't malfunction like mine can. So the operation and the ways of the human is the exact same. I can fuck you up like you can fuck me up. You know what I'm saying? Whether you got power in your hand or not. It's like playing a game of basketball. You know? If you're a good enough player, you can fuck me up. If I'm a good enough player, I can fuck you up. So it's just like, it's not about that really. It's not about you just being in charge. What I'm saying, not about that you run America and shit. How did you get this shit? The way that you got this shit, we can do the same thing to you and take it back, my nigga. Lies, deceptions, this, that, and the third. So you got to stop thinking that you're greater than people when people are actually just being peaceful and kind to you. It's just that you're not peaceful and kind. You already have an attention and agenda. So you stay on it and you fucking with peaceful people. Now, if these peaceful people turn on you and start doing to you what you did to us, then yeah, you would lose power. We have more power than you because we're more clever than y'all and shit like that. So yeah, yo, it's crazy, yo. Japanese people still walking by on some Asian shit, black glasses and shit, just looking at me and shit. I don't want you to see my eyes. I just want to see your eyes and shit. But it's like, yo, my wisdom is that never fuck with another man's woman, period. I never took another man's woman ever in my life. Ever. Took another man's woman. I never had sex with another man's girl ever. I don't care where you from. So the respect is still way too strong for you to feel anything about me as an individual person. So I'm the one talking, so you got to come at me as an individual, right? That's why I be talking. Put it on me. You can't look at me and be like, he's trying to get my woman. Like, no, man, nigga. The Torah says, thou shalt not commit adultery. You're married to her. I never do that shit. Even though deep in her heart, she's blacked out. She's a replay and shit. Her eyes are crossed. The only thing is that she's not activated. All somebody got to do is put a black dick in her. Her eyes gonna get back activated to how things was in the replay. Like me, I got activated, so now I'm talking about my past life and shit with the Hiroshima. Y'all just not activated yet. You just listen to a random person talk. So that woman ain't gonna activate until I either talk about this shit like I'm doing now and she heard it. Then she'll activate like, no, that's mine. He belonged to me, and she's doing everything to get that dick, even though her husband and her children right there. Her eyes crossed, but you don't see the eye cross yet until black dick start entering into her pussy, going inside of her fucking, you know what I'm saying? Going deep inside of her ass, hitting her walls, bow, bow, bow. Then her eyes will cross. Then she'll start growling and shit. Then you'll start seeing that demon possession and shit like that. And then you reactivated the shit. And the same energy they had before can no longer be hidden. It's 100% exposed. So all this quiet shit the Japanese people be doing, all this quiet, all this, secret shit, it stops and shit. Now you go back to realizing who's the more aggressive people. The fuck. You can stop pretending now and shit. Because the number one people I will be having sex with is Japanese women. Non-stop having sex with them and shit. And they have the power to until you came over here like, you know what? Let's do this, because when we wake back up and reactivate this shit, we won't be slaves to these people. And they got the same issue they got over here, but we belong to the Japanese people. So let's get over here and good to the point where when we activate the shit, they got so used to us being their slaves, but we really not. What's gonna happen is it's gonna cancel out and shit. They're gonna end up fighting each other over us. Because we don't belong to America. We belong in Japan and shit. We're their food and shit. So they're going to end up either fighting each other to get us and shit like that. And Earth is sex and shit. So a Caucasian woman won't start fighting a Japanese woman over a Japanese cat, wanting to have sex and shit. Black dick. But it's all the same to them. And in the human form, it's all the same. You want this brown dick. But the Caucasian woman, she's used to big ass black dicks that's bigger than mine. So it's going to cancel out her. And that's pretty much where that might end up overturning, because my dick not 10 inches, 11 inches. And they used to big ones because they got so used to us having sex. They got so used to having sex with us that they want super big ones and shit. Ones that go inside their cervixes and shit. But the Japanese people aren't on that level yet. They still on a surface level of, shit, you can give me a 7. That's like, I'm going to go crazy, eyes crossed over a 7. So it's a lust fight, my niggas. It's crazy. Spanish people had nothing to do with us. They just here too, and we here. We like, okay, Spanish people here and shit. We just like extra people you see here, but it's not, the story has nothing to do with them. Some of them, they just angels with some of them, and blah blah blah. You're nothing to do with them. So the story ain't about them, but it's just Caucasian people and Japanese people for me. So if I ever did start having sex with Japanese women, pale-faced Japanese women, you know that they got 100% reactive and shit. They got 100. I'm like, damn, if you see me in Japan again, know that it's about to happen. Because I'm not supposed to be back in Japan unless I'm having sex with them. And if I do get back to Japan, I wouldn't be able to not have sex with them without getting fucked up. And I'm not married. But my thing is, the most important thing for me, if you ask me what I would choose, is just to take care of my daughter. Stay here in America, take care of my daughter, Labina, and my son, and just live life and shit. Taking care of my children and just stay single until I find somebody I can marry. Like regular, simple living. But the story, though, is so deep that I can't live a real new life. I'm living a replay life because the shit was so deep. That's why I got born again and shit. Came back because the shit was so deep. I'm not going to be able to live a new life, really. But I'm trying hard to. It takes a dedication though. But the disrespect so strong. Even if I get married to a woman, we still gonna end up replaying that shit. But at least we can replay it together, married with children. That's how I'm looking at it. Like, regardless of whatever it is, marriage is the thing for me. Not just fucking girls and shit. Just fucking bitches just because they want dick. That's not me. Cause then you can't get married and shit. You never gonna find love doing that. You just fucking bitches. And then you at that beck and call. Every time they want something, you just coming and you not even in the mood. You're not giving a fuck at all. You had sex with this one person so many times, you got used to it. They want to fuck again because they horny as shit. Because you being too private, you being too alone, you too peaceful. Look like you forgetting me and shit. You forgetting about me and shit. She's gonna burn and shit, jump on you, and you like, what you doing? I'm horny and shit. Start riding your dick and shit. Your dick soft as shit. She horny as shit, and it's feeling so fucking good, even though it's soft and shit. Cause she one of the girls that's small and shit. So that's what I'm saying. Like, small women start coming around me now. So that's how I know. At first it used to be like tall girls and big girls, the girls my height and shit. But small girls like 4'11" and 4'10", like small girls is coming at me. That's how I know it's activating now. You know, they coming after me and shit. So I don't know, yo. I said all of this. I said my story, yo. I'm gonna just cut it. Something I wanted to say that's real sharp and shit, but I think I said it in the way that it should have been said. But yeah, yo. I got certain people that are after me. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Harino Nakagawa, she blacked out and shit. Her eyes black as shit on the camera. I can't even see her eyes no more. I just see blackness in her eyes now and shit. She snapped, and trying to figure out how to get me to fuck over there and shit. On some real shit. Like, she trying to figure out how to get me over there. She just on the camera trying to figure it out, feeling the energy out. But it's like, you traded me for a Hershey's bar that was like a off-brand Trader's Joe Hershey's bar and shit. That shit didn't say Hershey's and shit. That shit said something else. She traded me. It's like you traded me for some off-brand snacks, American snacks and shit. And you thought you was in because you didn't know American snacks that was really name brand and shit that have you really in there. You didn't know. You just thought you was in there because America gave you some brand name shit that wasn't the official brand name. You got a knockoff Hershey bar. And so you thought you was in there. It was worth it and shit. Y'all over here now on some, I think it's worth it and shit, but it's not because you was on the knockoff side of shit. So Haruno Nakagawa did that shit to me. I was in Japan when she did that. I was in Oda City. And she did that. Traded my ass again and shit, not knowing who I was. Now she know who the fuck I am. She regretting the trade and shit. Like, nah, I didn't know I traded my cat and shit. He just looked like a black guy and shit. But I didn't know he was a cat. He was like Japanese from Hiroshima. You not knowing that shit. So it's like, that fucked you up. Now you trying to get me back and shit. Going crazy, snapping, blacking out, eyes crossed. And also another person, it's a lot of them, but Haruno Nakagawa is one of the main ones. Kitty Kum is grandma, but she's a cat too, so she's somebody I could actually be with. Even though she's in the pale face, Japanese skin, I could actually be with her because she's a cat. But also, so that's to let you know how it, the skin is not what we're looking at. The flesh is not what we're looking at. You got also Toxic Bunny. She's Chinese, but she's into Japanese culture. So she's a replay, but she's a replay from China, and she's fucked up too. She's an eye cross girl. And everything she said out of her mouth is how to trap my ass up and get me dicking her down too and shit. Like, just for the energy. With her, she's more mental, so it's more like, if I can get the power out of him, that's what I need. Now she knows she can definitely get the power source out of me to keep her system going, her dragon ass system going, and make it flourish and shit on some, now she's all for the dick and shit. So that's how it was with the sophisticated women that can think and shit. That's how you got the Quincy's too, the Quincy girls. They think. They don't be just doing shit. But when they saw the power, fuck that, I'm doing it and shit. For the power. But then doing it for the power, for her own men and her own people, turned into, she be growling and shit now. She blacked out, her eyes crossed and shit. She just doing it for the feeling now. So now the Quincy's is like, damn, I said just do it and get the power so we can excel our country. Now you just, he fucked up about it. Yeah, so the Quincy's are kind of in the middle of that shit. The glasses guys, the glasses Japanese people in the middle about it. But the glasses women, they're the worst ones. The glasses women are the worst ones because they understand fully the power that comes behind them being full of untamed lust towards black dick or our brown dick. She understands both sides, the power side and the pleasure side. So she's just not blacking out off just the pleasure, my nigga. So she's worse. She's way worse than the other women, you know? The glasses Japanese girls and shit. Like Sippy and shit. She's the worst one. Like your bitch ass is lucky and shit that the Pokemon cards is caged and shit. She went to Walmart, the Pokemon cards was caged and shit. She can't break through the cage. She don't got the key. She gotta buy them all and shit. But she's like, I'm gonna buy as many as I can. She going crazy and shit. Buying shit, buying switches and shit. Going crazy, buying up shit. But it's like, the fuck? She in the camera aggressive, 100% eye cross, blacked out. I'm gonna get your ass. Her voice slurring, her speech and shit. She lost her mind, my nigga. I'm gonna get your ass. I'm gonna break this cage and shit. Break this cage and get you and shit. And you'll be fucking me and shit. Like all that for the sex, my nigga. Because the power of the sex gonna advance their system. So then you start having aspiration again, inspiration again. You have eureka moments. The light bulb goes off in your mind again, and you start thinking, I'm gonna invent this and invent that. You start thinking and shit. You start having a purpose with your life, a motivation with your life, and you just don't sit there like dull anymore. You want to do shit. So that's what having sex with us is. That's how we built America. Like y'all got a lot of fucking inspiration, my nigga. Where it's coming from? Start sucking out dicks. The Japanese men start having inspiration too. Start building shit, inventing shit, advanced technology, advance this, advance that. That's how it was, and it's how it still is. But it's like, you know. So the Quincy girls, boy, the glasses girls. But the glasses guys are the ones that they are the safest to like be with, because with the cats, meaning the cats of us, because we think and they think and we like in the same mind of it, like, yo, the fuck, you know. So we work together better, you know, because our intensity of rage is the same when it comes to how them going so fucking untamed is and shit. It's the same, you know. So it's like Ichigo and the Quincy and shit. When they come across each other, their intensity is the same and they feel each other the most and shit. Like, why the fuck is wrong with them and shit? These niggas crazy. Like, right, what the fuck is going on? You know. So you could say like small dick niggas and cats. So me being a cat and then a small dick nigga from Japan is like we are more closely connected, whatever. Our rage is the same. For different reasons, but the same. Why'd you kill my ass? Because I ain't got nothing to do with that. His is, why the fuck is you know what I'm saying? All that. Nigga's crazy. It's like I'm like L, and then L is like with the Quincy off of Bleach and shit. L and the Quincy off of Bleach working together and shit, trying to figure out how this shit started and shit. At the same time, trying to stop niggas from pulling a Death Note shit, pulling a Death Note card and be racing niggas. So we trying to put our minds together to stop this shit, but we not realizing that we need holiness. So it's the cats and the Quincy's working together and shit. Everybody else just lost their fucking minds. And we don't say nothing, let them do it and shit. The fire is too hot to be blocking them again. We knew that it was going to happen like that. Don't block them. Just let them do it, because the same shit going to happen again. They just going to go back where they went the first time and shit. You know, when they got fucked up, we're going to go back where they went to the first time. But those of us who got the second chance and proved ourselves that we don't belong in hell and shit, it was for us to prove ourselves. Now it's just going to replay back the way it was before. You can't stop the fate of what happened before. It happened. So that means you're going to be seeing hardcore BBC sex with Asians and Caucasian. You're going to see that shit all over again. No fucks giving sex, eye cross, growling sex. Like, what the fuck? So everybody in the world can see why the fuck Hiroshima happened. You can't stop that shit. All we can do is keep ourselves away from the shit so we don't feel the wave of that shit. This time around, the cats of us can escape that shit. What the fuck we gotta do? Our dick small already anyway. We cats, our dick small as shit. You can't see cat dick. Fuck we gotta do with dicks and shit. Like, we don't, you know what I'm saying? What the fuck? I'm 5'7". I'm short. My dick is short. You know? For a brown man, my dick is short as shit for a brown man. So if I'm with a woman, she gotta be 5 foot nothing on shorter and shit for it to be like some fucking your walls up type shit. She gotta be 5 foot nothing and shorter, 5'3" shorter and shit like that. To be fucking her walls up and it's like how they was doing it on the BBC level. Niggas got 12, 13-inch dicks and shit like that. To be like that big and shit, that's a different level, my nigga. Like mine's is on a like small level. And I need small girls and shit. So it's cat people shit. So we got nothing to do with that. So anyway, my ex-wife and shit, Tanika, is so aggressive with Jhené Aiko. She counting it and shit. Oh, you know, had a dream where she's talking to had a meta account where my ex-wife Tanika's talking to my daughter Dabina. I said, "Oh, that girl right there, lady singing, that's your stepmother. That's your stepmother and shit." Why she's saying it like that is because she want to beef with Jhené Aiko so bad that she's like egging shit on, like that's your stepmother and shit. Yes, that's your daddy new girlfriend and shit. So that's daddy new girlfriend. That's your father new girlfriend. That's your, because the way the singing was so aggressive and all that shit, you don't wanna cut off the energy and shit. You got a problem, you got a beef, you want it to stay a beef and shit. So you saying shit, the energy is like that's your father's uh yeah, new girlfriend, it's your stepmother. The lady said, hey, it's your stepmother. When I'm gonna meet her, I don't know. Type shit like that. Trying not to stop the beef because you don't want to get caught slipping type shit. So once the beef start, you don't want to stop the beef, so you want to egg it on type shit. So that was happening. Um, had another meta encounter last night with Cardi B and all kinds of other people that was cat people and had something to do with the replay of Hiroshima and shit like that. Just trying to like move forward with the replay, you know, and finish this. Now we proved ourselves where we belong and shit like that. We can be in our proper places and shit. Instead of just everybody in hell, we can be in our proper places. Some people went back to hell, some people didn't. You can see some cat guys that was in hell, they getting brown bodies and stuff. They got big dicks. They be on the porn scenes already in Japan. They the first ones to go back to hell. They just more like, fuck it, you know, I'm going back to hell and shit, fuck it. And just start fucking these women, fucking the Japanese girls and shit. Because like, I'd rather fuck a Caucasian Japanese woman than a Caucasian American woman, and I'm Japanese, you know. I'm like, I ain't even want to be mad at them. I'm just like, that's what you chose and shit. And you be seeing that shit. They be fucking the shit out of, you know. I have a foolproof plan for that still, because all you got to do is be polygynous. And so the women that you have sex with, you can own them. Even though they're going to make it look like they own you and shit, and you just do what they say, you can, on the spiritual side of things, own them. Any woman I put my dick inside of belongs to me and shit. They're my concubine or some shit like that. So that way you don't get fucked up for, you know, just fucking somebody else's girl and shit. It's like you got to put a stipulation there. If I'm having sex with her, she gonna belong to me and shit. And like she'll never belong to you. I'm like, I'll just let you know and shit. If I'm having sex with her, she's gonna belong to me and shit. And you know, I just had to say it because I'm not gonna have sex with a girl I'm not gonna belong to. So even though they might disregard what you said, at least you said it, and so it saves you and shit. So when it saves you, I'm like, I told you that she gonna belong to me and shit if I'm having sex with her, because I shouldn't be. I don't want to do this and shit. So that's how it be. So off that, says so much, yo. I do need a wife though. They kind of like block. I need somebody to block for me and shit. So I need a wife to block the Japanese pale-faced women, because I do not want to go back to Japan just to be having sex with them and shit. But I do want to see Anna Yamagishi again. You know, I do want to meet with the brown-faced Japanese people and shit. And it is home, so it's more comfortable there. You know, because you belong there. You know, so yes, that belonging is something that all people will always crave, to go home, to go where you belong. So yes, I'm between two decisions, but I just don't want to do it the wrong way. Just going out there to fuck people, have sex and shit, you know? Because if I do it that way, it's gonna be where I have to play the concubine card and be like, hey, look, you're forcing me, so you don't belong to me. But so long as I'm in America, I can still play the, you know, it's not gonna be forced. It's just them looking at me funny and shit. But I got enough power, magic power left to be like pushing them away and shit, making them scared of me and shit, walk away from me, just look at me from a distance, but not really feeling it. And then I got the Caucasian man in the way, so I got enough defenses up. My chubby stomach, the Caucasian man, uh, not working, looking lazy, not giving them anything and shit. Like not giving them anything is able to block them and shit from wanting to have sex with me. So I'm doing my best. I got a lot of blocks up, a lot of ketos up and shit. They can't break. They haven't been able to break through into any of the ketos yet, but they have emotions to know that I'm behind these ketos, guarded up and shit, and they sitting there trying to figure out if they should or shouldn't. They're not believing it and shit. Like it look like a fake keto and shit. I don't believe it and shit. As long as I can keep them believing it's not true, it's good. And so long as I can keep talking about all of the details of what I'm doing, I can make the spell stronger, because then they're gonna overly doubt themselves by me just talking about it. Because normally people don't talk about it, so we gotta be faking. Fuck their heads up, my nigga. Have them thinking all over the place, just so I don't get chosen for the wrong shit. So with that said, I'm gonna let it go, y'all. So.